look, I expect there to be fraud and some losses, but what is the scale of it there?
Well, the scale is enormous. It's hard to document it, but we were asked by Congress to actually do that. I mean, I initially, you know, asked Congress not to ask us to do that because it would take so much time. And a few years ago, we actually did it, and we looked at only the programs that we audited. And of those programs, we determined about 30% of the money spent in Afghanistan was either wasted or stolen. And that report is about 3 years old, but I think you can extrapolate from that. And and it could even be higher than that. Some of the problems we've identified, we just can't document how much. One is this ghost workers, ghost soldiers, ghost police. Uh, you're reading now in the newspaper, Jane, about a lot of these police forces just disappearing or not fighting the Taliban. Well, just this year, the Defense Department admitted to us that 50% of the police in some of the major provinces, including Kandahar, Helmand, Zabul, Uruzgan provinces, never existed. Those are ghosts. I mean, I never thought of this, but I've been chasing ghosts, gas, and gangsters for the last 7 years. It reminds me of when I was an organized crime prosecutor. I didn't chase ghosts back then, but you had ghost workers. And it was actually Ghani himself, President Ghani, who told me years ago, before he was president, that he said, Mr. Sopko, you're paying the salary of an Afghan civil servant who's also a police officer, who's also a soldier, and you're paying 3 salaries, and on top of that, he doesn't exist. There was a program called the G222. That's an airplane. We bought an airplane for the Afghans to the tune of about $490 million. And we bought 20 of them, and none of them worked. As a matter of fact, we talked to pilots who flew them into Kabul, and there was parts falling off of them. We bought them actually not new. We bought them used from the Italian Air Force boneyard where they were just keeping them. And there was a problem from the beginning. They were the wrong plane for Afghanistan military, and they had no spare parts. And the Air Force knew it when they bought them. So you bought planes with no spare parts. So that was a total disaster. I think we've spent over $2 billion on fuel. And our military has told us that over 50% of it gets stolen. So there's $1 billion right there. One point I want to make, Jane, is, I mean, it's not like we sent, some evil Americans over there. I mean, the vast, vast, vast majority of our soldiers, our ambassadors, our State Department, our contractors, were honest, honorable, brave, and did the right thing. But the problem is we sent them over there with a box of broken tools. And when you're in a war zone, those problems are just amplified. There were some successes. So if you look at the outcome, you remember inputs, outputs, and outcomes. Ignore the inputs and outputs for the time. Look at the outcome. We wanted to improve the lives of women and girls in health and in education. And there has been an improvement, especially with women and girls. We also wanted to improve the general health of the Afghan people, and we did. We also tried to improve their media. And if you look at the Afghan country and compare it with all the countries around it, the Afghan media is one of the most independent and best trained and most accurate of all the medias in all that country. So we did accomplish that, and there's other successes like that. The problem is, with the growth of the Taliban, all of those gains are at risk.